Welcome to our lesson on trophic levels. The key questions for today are 1. What are trophic levels and what do they mean? 2. How are trophic levels shown in a food chain? 3. How are trophic levels shown on a pyramid of number? 4. What is a herbivore? 5. What is a carnivore? The key words you will need to know are producer, primary consumer, secondary consumer, tertiary consumer, apex predator. Trophic levels are used to describe the position of an organism within a food chain. It gives an idea of its feeding relationship with other organisms. Food chains start with the trophic level given the number 1, and the numbers increase the further along a food chain the organism is. This diagram shows a simple food chain. Task: which organism starts the food chain and would therefore be given the number 1? Extension: how many trophic levels are seen in this food chain? The corn would be given the number 1 as it starts the food chain. The whole food chain consists of 4 trophic levels. 1. The corn. 2. The mouse. 3. The snake. 4. The owl. The first trophic level is known as the producer. This is the organism that synthesizes its own food. These are usually plants, which use the sun's energy to convert carbon dioxide and water into glucose. Glucose is a store of chemical energy. This energy is passed along the food chain. The first trophic level can be a plant, algae, or phytoplankton. The second trophic level is the primary consumer. This is usually a herbivore, meaning they only eat plants, algae, or phytoplankton. The primary consumers eat the producers. Primary consumers are often insects, shrimps, fish, or animals. The third trophic level is the secondary consumer. These organisms eat the primary consumer. These are carnivores or omnivores. This means that they eat other animals or eat other animals as well as plants. Examples of tertiary consumers include foxes, wolves, and predatory birds. The fourth trophic level, if it exists in a food chain, is called the tertiary consumer. Food chains don't often go beyond 4 trophic levels as the energy transfer between levels decreases. A carnivore with no predators is called an apex predator or top carnivore, and they are top of the food chain. The food chain shows a river food chain from an AQA exam paper. Task: identify the producer, primary consumer, and apex predator and state their trophic levels. Extension: explain why the small fish is not an apex predator. The producer in this food chain is the algae and is trophic level 1. The primary consumer is the invertebrate animals and they are trophic level 2. The apex predator is the large fish and is trophic level 4. The small fish are trophic level 3 and are not apex predators because they are eaten by the large fish. The number of trophic levels in a food chain causes a change in the amount of energy transferred to the apex predator. The following table shows how energy is transferred to humans in 2 different food chains. Taken from an AQA exam paper. Task: Comment on the different amounts of energy transferred to humans. Extension. Work out the percentage difference in the amount of energy transferred to humans by the two different food chains. The energy transferred to humans via the shorter food chain is much higher than the energy transferred to humans from the longer food chain. The shorter food chain transfers 810,000 kilojoules of energy more than the longer food chain. The smaller food chain provides 900% more energy than the shorter food chain. Task. Complete this AQA exam question. And here are the answers.